Come on in, come on in. Oh, you already know I got to get my lucky lip gloss because I have to have lip gloss when I'm talking. I don't know what it is about my mouth, but love you, Spanky. You got about 30 more minutes and you got to do your homework, okay? Homework is very important. We don't want to fail the third grade. Okay, what's up, everybody? Hey, guys, I just thought I'd pop on and chit-chat with you guys a little bit. Um, talk about some recovery from addiction and, just bounce some ideas off of each other, things that work for us that help us stay sober. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Alyssa. Hey, Becky. Hey, Mikey. What's up? Uh, so come on in. Let's hang out. I love going live. And we are normalizing tooth loss here on this channel. I had to have my tooth pulled out Friday. And this is a direct result of my addiction because I have 55% bone loss on my top and bottom jaws. So I'm going to have to be getting new teeth. Hey, Billy, what's up, man? Come on in. What's up, you guys? So I was just thinking, like, we have a lot of new people that came to my channel, and we could talk about anything you guys want to talk about. We could talk about if you're struggling with your recovery and you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. If you guys want to know stuff about me, you can ask me stuff. Whatever to talk about. Hey, Mr. Green, what's up? I hadn't seen you in a while. I hadn't seen a lot of you guys in a while. I'm glad y'all are here. So I guess I'll just kind of start out talking and because that's what I'm good at. So my addiction, how did my addiction start? That's what I'll tell you guys. So my addiction started because when I was younger, I was probably like 15 years old. I really struggled with my weight. I've always struggled with my weight. My mom is Mexican and my dad is Italian, and we love to eat. Okay. And so when I was younger, I remember going to my mom and telling her, like, I'm ugly, I'm fat, nobody likes me. And so she took me to the doctor. Well, when she took me to the doctor wrote me a prescription for phentermine. So if any of you guys know what phentermine is, it's a stimulant medication that helps you lose weight. And so that was my first like introduction to any kind of like drug that was a narcotic. So the first time I ever took phentermine, it was like the best thing that ever happened to me. It gave me energy. It made it to where I could focus. It helped me to get my homework done. I just felt like a better human being on this medication, So you can imagine after I ran out of it after 30 days, how disappointed I was. But once I ran out of it, I didn't go looking for it right away, right? I think I was like 17 years old before I stepped out and started using illegal, not prescription medications, but like methamphetamine, cocaine, that kind of thing. And bottom line is, like, I was just kicking it, dude. I was partying with my friends. You know what I'm saying? I was partying with my friends and they were getting high. We were smoking and we were drinking. And, one thing for me is that if I'm drinking, dude, I'm not drinking to fucking taste the alcohol. That shit's disgusting tasting. I'm drinking to get fucking drunk as fuck. I'm drinking to throw down. And so when I was 17 years old, I was hanging out with people that were like 23, 24 years old, which I had no business being around. And if my mother and father would have known, they would have beat my motherfucking ass. But I was really slick with it, And that's how I got addicted to methamphetamine, because I was out kicking it, and one of my friends took me to this guy's house. His name was Marco. I'll never forget it. And Marco had a bowl. He had a bowl of ice he was smoking, or meth he was smoking. Back then it was called crank, and he was smoking a bowl, and I'd never forget it. He gave me a hit off of it, and when he gave me that hit, I was just like, well, this is even better than phentermine. You know what I mean? And that I really liked it, and I seeked it out after that at 17 years old. I continued to seek it out. Drugs made me feel confident. Drugs made me feel like I could do anything I wanted to do. And I lacked a lot of confidence and self-esteem when I was younger. I mean, these are things I still struggle with as a grown woman. Hey, Christy, what's up, girl? Hey, Toodle Soup. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Kayla. Hey, y'all. Even as an adult, you guys, I still struggle with these things. Like, I am not like, I'm telling you right now, I am just like a regular person. I struggle every single day with insecurities. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh my God, Nicole. You know, like I was just thinking, like, what am I doing today? Today I folded the laundry, I vacuumed. Of course, I did my job where I work, you know. My partner just told me she's addicted to speed, but she doesn't want me to help her stop. What do I do? She said it's only an issue because of her lack of sleep and finance struggle. So she's using to stay up because she can't sleep. I'm honestly, what I would do if I were you is I would talk to her and let her know that you're not judging her and that you love her and that you're there to support her, but you're concerned for her well-being. And I would take her to the doctor, and I would have that sleep situation addressed. Take her to the doctor, talk to the doctor about her mental health and her sleep, and get that situation addressed. And then also see if she can't get in some therapy. I'm telling you guys, therapy is so good. Whenever I got sober, I got into therapy, and I was going bi-weekly. For the first like 4 or 5 years I was sober, I was going to therapy. That's how long. I still do therapy, but not bi-weekly. Like, this was serious therapy. And it helped me so much. But bottom line, like when you have somebody, I feel like that is using substances, just let them know that you're not judging them. Just let them know that you're there to help them and encourage them. You're not going to, you're not going to force them to do anything, because we can't. Nobody can force anybody to get sober, you know? All you can do is encourage them to make better choices. And another thing that really helps is if you have somebody who's, under the influence, using substances, addicted to drugs, whatever, if you can get like a roster of places that have openings for this person to go into, right? So that way, when this person says, I'm ready to get sober, you can go, okay, great, man. I got this place right here. They said they got a bed open for you. We can go right now, So having help available for those people, because a lot of the times people that are struggling with addiction, they will say, well, I can't get anywhere, or just it's not that they're trying to make excuses on purpose, but it is a little bit of excuse making, and so if you can have those resources already available for them, that is 100% amazing. Like if I was going into a situation where I had a loved one, let's say my husband was using drugs. If my husband had relapsed and he was using drugs, I would get a treatment center on lock for him, okay? I would have a place that he could walk into the moment he agreed to do it, all right? I would also have a therapist lined up for him. I would have all that. And then when I came to confront him or sit down and talk to him about it, I would say, hey, whenever you're ready, I want you to know that there's help available and I love you. And, although me and my son can't be around you, because that's what would have to happen if my husband relapsed. Me and my son would have to leave, or he would have to leave. More than likely, I would make him leave and go to his mom's house. Because I wouldn't want my little boy to see that. I don't want my son to ever see his dad looking crazy. I don't want him to ever have to think, oh my gosh, is my dad okay? I don't know what's going on, My little boy has anxiety real bad. My son has anxiety to the point where his anxiety will make him throw up. And I feel so guilty because when I was pregnant, I was addicted to drugs, and I feel like a lot of the reasons why he has anxiety is because of me, is because of the choices I made when I was pregnant. I was so selfish. And there's no way for me to ever go back and change it. I think about it every single day. I pray about it every single day. I ask God to help me forgive myself, and I'll have 8 years sober in July, and I'm still not still haven't forgiven myself, and I don't think I ever really will be able to. But my son has severe anxiety, and it's because of the choices that I made when I was in active addiction. I made a lot of really bad choices, and that's why I want people. Hey, Captain, what's up, girl? That's why I want to share my story with you guys, because I want you guys that are out there that are listening to not make the same mistakes that I made. Okay? Don't make the same mistakes I made. So hopefully through hearing my story, it'll help somebody out there that is going down this pathway. There was a time where I thought that I could handle my drug use. There was a time where I was thinking I was moderating my drug use, and I was like, oh, I'm just using every now and then, But for me, it quickly became out of control. There's certain substances that I can take in moderation because I don't like those substances. They're not my thing. You know what I mean? And then there is substances that, like methamphetamine, cocaine, opioids, Xanax, like those substances I cannot take in moderation. Like today, if I was given a prescription of Oxycontin, I would have to give it to somebody to hold for me, to give it to me as prescribed, because I could not take it as prescribed. I really don't think I could. I would need somebody to help me take it as prescribed. Thanks, Mikey. I don't think he can remember, though. He was only one. Yeah, he was just one. My son was one. Do you have Insta or Twitter? Yes, I have an Instagram. It's Discovering Nicole 77. I have like a little link in my About Me section to all my social medias, and I appreciate it if you guys follow me. That's cool. If you follow me, send me a message. Some of you guys have been doing y'all's due diligence and doing y'all's research, and then got my phone number and been texting me. So I am one of those psychos who puts my cell phone number out on the internet. And some of you guys have went far enough down in my my videos to where you found videos with my number across the screen. And so y'all have shot me texts. I think that's so awesome. It doesn't bother me at all. If you text me, I don't mind. It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable or anything like that. So I give my phone number out because you guys, like, I answer the phone for a big program anyway. So I give my phone number out on my voicemail. Hey, Shaya, what's up? Yes, there is definitely a stigma against medication-assisted treatment, and that is why this channel exists. Okay, so in 2016, when I went on 2017, in that area, I went to Facebook to share my story, and I was telling my story, and I got all the way to the end of my story, and I was talking about being on Suboxone, and you should have seen it. People in the recovery community made fun of me, dude. They literally made memes about me. They made memes with Suboxone orange pills and acting like they're soap and saying you're really clean, and I was cleaning myself with Suboxone. It was supposed to be some fucking meme or some shit, I have one child, and it was devastating, dude. It was devastating. I mean, I was so heartbroken. You know why I was heartbroken? Because the reason why I wanted to tell my story on Facebook was because I had been watching these other recovery advocates on Facebook share their stories. And I looked up to them. And so whenever that happened, I deleted my whole Facebook account. I was so upset, and I made a YouTube channel. But that's why I started this channel. I used to call myself Real Talk Recovery, and I used to do meetings like straight up, not AA, okay, Matt friendly recovery meetings every day, Monday through Sunday, okay? At 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we would be live on this channel talking about addiction and recovery. And I did that for a really long time. And my videos started getting circulated through different MAP programs. It was so amazing. And these places were reaching out to me and saying, hey, Nicole, we're going to use your videos at our program. Is that okay? And I'm like, hell yeah, you can use my videos at your program. You know what I mean? But there is a program for people that are on medication-assisted treatment. I bet you guys don't know about it. It's amazing. It's called MARA, Medication-Assisted Recovery Anonymous. It is legit amazing. MARA, the whole premise behind MARA is to live a safe lifestyle, okay? Is to get away from living unsafe, right? And living safe. They absolutely 100% support harm reduction. So if you come into a MARA meeting and you're still using, but you have been able to go from shooting to smoking, they're not going to kick you out of the meeting. They're going to accept you and celebrate the fact that you've been able to go from injecting to smoking. Because for some people, that's what it takes. It takes them to, I couldn't do it like that. I could not titrate myself down off drugs. Like, I had to be placed somewhere, or I couldn't get here's my my beacons is, it's beacons.ai/discovering_Nicole. That's why it's not working. beacons.ai/discovering_Nicole. So my friend Jeff Kamen created MARA like 5 or 6 years ago, and MARA has 12 steps and 12 traditions, but it's not a 12-step program, okay? They have 12 steps and they have 12 traditions. There's a big Facebook group called MARA, and it's just about non-judgmental, all-inclusive recovery. It's like, a lot of the reasons why we had to create MARA is because when we would go into meetings as people on medication-assisted treatment, and we would try to share, or we would try to get involved with the meeting, like maybe being the secretary of the home group or chairperson, we would be told that we were not able to do those things because we were on Suboxone or methadone. And so after you go and you get shot down so many times by your peers and told that you can't be a part of a group that they're all in, then you're like, fuck this, you know? And so after going and being around people who didn't want us to be around for so long, and who felt as if we were cheating the system, because I think that's what it comes down to for a lot of people that are abstinent in AA or NA, is that they feel like we are somehow getting over. We didn't have to go through withdrawal, which is actually a lie, because to get on Suboxone, every single one of us had to go through withdrawal, you know? And since when does withdrawal make us like, is that like the deciding factor on whether or not you're like a true addict or not? Like, I don't get it, you know? What I've always been taught is that as long as you are prescribed the medication that you're taking, and you're taking it as prescribed, you know, then that's recovery, that's sobriety, right? I never even thought that I would have to like go back and forth with people about whether or not I was clean or sober at all. I never even imagined that I would have to talk to people about that until I started wanting to share with other people about recovery and what works for me. You know, I'm the kind of person that has to have like repetition. I was just watching CG Kid's video. If y'all hadn't watched his new video, it was really good. Go watch it. But he was talking about, for him, girl, I need to go to the dentist. I go on Friday to get this damn tooth fixed. What is the worst kick? He was talking about how constantly reminding himself how bad his addiction was didn't help him in his recovery. And I'm actually the direct opposite. Like, I have to constantly remind myself how shitty it was, because I have this like really bad habit of forgetting and going back to that lifestyle. I am a chronic relapser. Every time I tried to get sober, I would relapse. I've been to treatment 7 times. I've been in and out of sober living centers. I've been to prison. I've been, I have been in and out of, institutions to get myself right. And I could never maintain that recovery. So now, part of, what helps me stay sober is being on Suboxone. It's so crazy because I'm literally on the most tiniest amount of Suboxone y'all could ever imagine. I'm like less than half of a milligram of Suboxone. Okay. I titrated myself down all the way from 12 milligrams down to 1/4 of 1 milligram last January. I talked about that this morning. So if you want to watch that, and we made a video about it last night. So those are the 2 videos before this. I'm not going to talk about her anymore. So if you're here for that, and that's the only reason why you're here, I'm really sorry. Okay. I said what I needed to say about it, you guys, and I'm not trying to be negative or nothing. I'm just letting you know, because I don't want to waste your time. What I talk about is recovery. And if something happens in our community, like this happened, I'll talk about that. But like, as far as all that stuff goes, I'm kind of just going to be sitting in the background watching too. I feel like I did my part, which was, I wanted to make sure that I protected the people that I care about, which is my community. I want people to know that, the truth about things. And I would hope that somebody, if I was doing things like that, people would call me out on it too, So I was on 12 milligrams of Suboxone. That's what I started out on. And I stayed on 12 milligrams for 4.5 years. Around the 4.5 year mark, I started wanting to taper, because I had no sex drive. I felt kind of just like, I didn't have no emotion. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? And I'm not, please don't take this the wrong way. I just felt like I was on too high of a dose for me at that time. Now, when I first got sober, the 12 milligrams was perfect. I needed that much. But as I stayed sober and I started, changing my life, becoming a better person, helping others, doing the right thing, then I started not needing it that much. So I started to feel like I was tired all the time, lethargic, and like it wasn't conducive. So that's when I started my taper. And I have literally wrote out a taper plan that I feel like it's foolproof. If you follow my taper plan, you'll be successful. You'll get off Suboxone and you'll succeed. And the reason why you'll succeed is because you go slow. Like, people were trying to taper down 1 milligram every week. I only dropped once every 30 days. Okay. There was also times where I would go 3 months and not drop. I would just pause my taper and stay at that, and then drop down 90 days later, because I was like really struggling and I didn't need to go fast. But like, 3 months is a long time to stretch it out. My taper took 2.5 years. Yeah. So, but if you're not trying to take 2.5 years, like going down 1 milligram every 30 days is like, so simple. You don't even feel it. You're just chilling. Hey, you know, and you actually don't start feeling any kind of like real change in it until you get to under like 4 milligrams. Hey, Isabel. Oh, that's good, Elizabeth. But excuse me. I felt like all this pressure that I needed to get off Suboxone, right? I felt like people didn't think I was sober. I felt like people didn't take me seriously because I was on Suboxone. I just got my job working, you know, at American Addiction Institute with Dr. B. And I felt like, you know, I needed to be off this medication because people wouldn't take me seriously. So in January of last year, I jumped the fuck off. I jumped the fuck off. And I did good. I did good. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But I'm telling you guys, I wasn't ready. And I had the most horrible, debilitating depression. And so I inducted back on, you know, at about a half of a milligram. And that's about where I stay at, is between half a milligram and a quarter of a milligram, just kind of teeter-tottering like that. But I know you're like, oh gosh, that's not a lot. But Suboxone is so strong, you guys. It is a very, very, very strong medication. I didn't realize how strong it was. You know what I mean? I may swap to the pills instead. Tired of the films. Too much of a hassle. Ugh, I hate the pills. See, I did that at the methadone program because one, I was sick of having to go there every other week. But now I'm good. Once a month. Good, good. Good. See, Ari, that's a great. See, and people don't understand. Like, that's great. Take your time. There's no need to rush. Like, who are we trying to compete against, right? Like, the only person that I'm trying to compete against is my damn self. You know. I don't know that if I'll ever get off this little bit of Suboxone I'm on. It really. I have a lot of. I have. I'm unbalanced. I don't know if you guys can tell that or not, but I have mental health issues, and I've only ever been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and depression. But I'm telling you, there's something else going on because I just feel like I just feel like there's something else, you know. But my mental health is a struggle, man. It's a struggle. I can be doing really good for like 2, 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden I can wake up and I barely can get myself out of bed. Like, it takes everything in my power to get my son up and go take him to school. And I feel so guilty. You know, I feel horrible about that. But I pushed myself, and I would never, ever, you know, let him see me feeling like that. It's gotten a lot better since we moved into this new place. Whenever we were living in my old place, I don't know what it was, but it was like there was black mold in that house because it was an older house. And when I tell you guys, hey, Melissa, when I tell you guys, it was making me so depressed that I could tell a significant difference when we moved out of that house into this house. Like, I felt like I could breathe again, you know? I had dissociative identity disorder and bipolar too. Oh, Pixie, really? I have a friend that has DID. I have to introduce you to her. Her name's Avalon. I wish we could give hugs through the screen. Yeah, and I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all will learn this about me, okay? I'm emotional. I cry a lot. It's not because it's because I feel my feelings really, really, really strongly, you know? It was always dark. Yes. And see, at my mother, because me and my husband, we used to rent from my mother-in-law. And so the house that we lived in was my husband's childhood home. And we didn't have like light fixtures in the ceiling. It was the strangest thing, you guys. Like, it was so strange. So it was dark in that house a lot. I was so depressed. Suboxone has a limit. Methadone does not. Most people go with what works for them. The biggest issue is people who sell mat on the streets. You know, I don't really think that selling mat on the streets is that big of an issue because, the diversion of Suboxone, it's really just going to people who are trying to get sober and get off dope, and 9 times out of 10, once they are buying diverted Suboxone and they get on that, then they are coming to the clinic, because I cannot tell you how many people call me and tell me, Nicole, I've been buying my subs off the street, but I know that I shouldn't be doing that, and I want to get a legit prescription. And I'm like, okay, come on, let's do it, And so I know that diversion, we're not supposed to divert our medication, but that's the way I always see it, is when people are diverting their medication, it's people who are like in between wanting to get sober, and they're kind of just still dancing around in that world of using, not using, using, not using. And hopefully they cross over to the sub side, and then they say, I got to get my own prescription. Where I struggle to get up and moving, and if I do get up, I can't move off the couch. Yeah, Alyssa, what do you think? Subs have a half-life for days. You cannot go into withdrawal for days. That's amazing. You help them. Oh, hell yeah. I love helping people, especially that need MAT treatment. Because see, here in Arkansas, and there's a lot of other rural areas where people don't have access to medication-assisted treatment. And so I work with the recovery delivered people, and we are able to service, people that are in rural areas and deliver Suboxone to their door, you guys, to their door. It's pretty fucking cool. I love being able to do that. I wish I could deliver it to their door. That would be really cool. I was hanging with these people once who were doing subs off the street, and the one girl came out of her haze and sternly looked me in the eye and said, Melissa, no, you do not want to do this. No, you do not. The first time I ever took a Suboxone, you guys, was when I was, younger, and I thought it was just like a regular pain pill. Bitch, I took half of one of those motherfuckers, and I was projectile vomiting for fucking 3 days. That's how fucked up I was. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling whenever I was so ill. I was so sick. I never forgot that day, ever. From that day forward, I always remembered what them little orange fucking stop sign looking pills would do. And I steered clear of them motherfuckers. I didn't like buying subs because it stayed in my system forever and totally ruined future highs. Yep. People now only want the Subutex because of precipitated withdrawal. So, okay, so that's a misunderstanding, you guys, about now. So the naloxone in Suboxone is actually, it doesn't really cross the blood-brain barrier when taken sublingually. So what actually makes us go into precipitated withdrawal is buprenorphine. Buprenorphine has a higher affinity to our opioid receptors in our brain. And so if you have opiates, in there, and you take Subutex or Suboxone, what's going to happen is that bupe rushes onto that receptor and throws all the rest of those opiates off. It's okay. I know I used to think the same thing. So don't think I'm trying to correct you in a mean way. I started working with the doctor that I work with back in 2020, and he actually schooled me because I thought the same thing. So what I have learned is that sublingually, the naloxone that's in Suboxone is it's lower than a 2% bioavailability. And so that's what it is. The bupe is what's keeping us from being able to get high on other substances. But there's this new fentanyl out there, these new analogs of fentanyl out there, you guys, that you can basically break through anything with these fucking things. It's crazy. I considered doing the medication by mail with recovery delivered before I went to a clinic, but was scared that if they got lost, I couldn't get them replaced. Oh, no, that wouldn't happen. I had a girl who, she was getting her shipped, right? And there was a blizzard. And so she never got them, right? The blizzard, something happened. So they just had to recall them into somewhere else for her. just getting off meth, but I always end up relapsing. I'm 20 years old. Hey, what's up, Mountain Pack boys? It's hard, it's hard with methamphetamine because, like I said before when I was talking about stimulants, methamphetamine is the kind of drug that tells you that you do everything better when you're on meth. That's how I felt. I felt like I did everything better. I was prettier. I was smarter. I was skinnier. I was cuter. I was. Hey, Nick. Oh, I don't have no plan. No plan. My plans are to get my teeth fixed Friday. If anyone is in the Las Vegas area and are under the age of 21, Beacon Academy of Nevada can help you get your high school degree. Oh, wow, that's great. Awesome. Hey, Casey, what's up, girl? I don't know what it is about methamphetamine, but I made a video about this on my TikTok account about how the only drug that I truly crave still is methamphetamine. And I have to really do my due diligence to like tell myself that I don't need to take methamphetamine or any kind of stimulant. Like I have to constantly remind myself like of the way my life was when I used meth. I have to constantly remind myself of the fact that I lost custody of my son because of my meth use. Because it's such a euphoric drug. It's methamphetamine releases more dopamine in your brain than when you have sex, than when you eat chocolate, than when you do cocaine. Okay, like methamphetamine is a very powerful substance. By far the most powerful substance there is, I believe. I truly believe. Yes, opioids cause a physical dependency, but man, I'm telling you what, the circle jerk of fucking mental shit that happens when you become addicted to methamphetamine, the psychological trips that you go through. I've been addicted to all the drugs, so comparing all of them, methamphetamine and benzos were the hardest drugs for me to get away from. Go eventually, but in reality, we get less accomplished. Absolutely. I would think I was doing all these things and like, okay, so like have all these projects, right? And I would have like the laundry going and the couch over here doing this. And I would take all these things apart. And by the end of the day, my husband and I would be in a room where everything was taken apart. The couch cushions are out off the couch. The zippers are off the zipper. I have a timeline or plan to come on. Didn't know if you were thinking about Suboxone. No, I honestly, no. I just been staying at the low milligrams, that under 0.5 milligram. And, I've just been chilling at that. I have I got to get a lot of dental stuff done. As you can see, I'm missing a tooth, damn it. I'm going to be getting this tooth taken out. Hopefully that'll be it, but I might have to get these ones too. And then I have to get them replaced. And so honestly, I haven't really even thought about coming off. I've been talking about not coming off until Nate is like 15 or 16 years old, because I just don't want to go through withdrawal with my son here. And it's hard. It's just hard. It's hard being a mom and doing all that stuff. But I might just stay on it for the rest of my life. It's because I work with this place, I'm able to go see the doctor, and it's all it's already taken care of. And so I can see the doctor and get my medication that I need. All I got to do is pay for my medicine. And so it's real convenient. And it's real convenient. And it's helping me a lot right now. Recently, last year, began getting delusions, paranoid. Oh no, really? While you're using Mountain Pack Boys? Did you know, Teresa, that combining cocaine and alcohol is deadly, and that when you combine cocaine and alcohol, a substance called coca-ethylene is created, which is way stronger than just cocaine, and it can kill you. It's so dangerous. I did not know that. I used to get really drunk and then be like, I need a line, to sober me up. And Dr. B taught me about coca ethylene and how combining alcohol and cocaine can kill you. Learn something new every day. Huh.
I'm making
Are you done with my computer, Nate?
No. Nate's on there.
Okay, Nate. My son is using my computer, that little poop stain. Okay. Oh, watch out. What kind of implant did you get, Nick? So whenever I was using methamphetamine, at first when I was using it, I was just regular. I would use it. I would get high. I would go out and party. I would do things, blah, 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 blah. Probably about 10 years into my methamphetamine use, I started to hallucinate. I started to have psychosis. I started to see people that weren't really there. I started to talk to people that weren't really there. It was really crazy. I would get in these positions where I would be so afraid that whatever I thought was coming for me that I would just be stuck in fear, stuck in fear, not being able to move, and the people I would be with would be like, what the fuck's wrong with her? I ended up going into a coma for 7 days because of my drug binges. I went on this horrible drug binge where I was injecting methamphetamine and Roxys, and I was going to work, right? Well, on my fourth day to work, okay, I was injecting Roxys at night and methamphetamine during the day. My fourth day at work, I was cooking chicken, frying chicken, a whole 100-piece. And I was talking to people that were not really there. And Mr. Bobby goes, hey, Nicole, I'm going to take over. He takes the big basket of fried chicken from me, 100 pieces. I'm talking like I got this big vat of fucking grease, okay? And he's like, you can go home. I'll cover for you. And I'm like, okay, thanks, Mr. Bobby. I'm just thinking I'm all good, And I get in my little Ford Focus and I drive back to my friend Gerald's house. And I had been over there, shooting Roxys every night. So I went over to the house. I went back into the back bedroom and I, got myself fixed up. I was doing some Roxys. And I was just real spun out, And so I couldn't get myself to sleep. I don't know why I thought I was going to be able to go to sleep, but I was trying to go to sleep and I could not go to sleep. So I went to Gerald and I was like, hey man, do you have a Seroquel or Xanax or something that will help me sleep? And so he said, sure. He gave me a Seroquel, 100 milligrams. And I took it and I went and I laid down between the two gay guys, Barry and Darren. I said, let me in the middle. I'm going to be the cream in the donut, baby. And y'all make sure I don't get up, and help me go to sleep, because I was really struggling. Well, honey, it wasn't even 10 minutes after I laid down that I popped right up and I walked out the front door, and it was 2 a.m. in the morning. I walked down the front door, and when I tell you my hallucinations were going wild, I was seeing people that I worked with, I was hearing things, and then I looked straight ahead and there was this trailer with a porch, and all I could see on this porch was a mound of weed brownies on this lady's porch, right? And so I frantically run over to this lady's porch. I remember this like it was yesterday because I seen it. And I started trying to sweep this lady's porch at 2 o'clock in the morning with my hands. I don't know what I was sweeping with. I thought I had a broom. And the little lady poked her head out the window and saw me and called 911. Well, she called 911 and the police showed up. When that police officer showed up, I thought he was trying to kill me. I thought he was trying to pull his gun on me. I was ducking and weaving. And he finally got a hold of me to like calm me down and got my phone and called my mom. And he said, "Ma'am, your daughter is in a bad way. Like, what do you want us to do with her?" And my mom said, "Please take her to the emergency room." So the police officer called an ambulance. The ambulance came, and when I tell you, I got into that ambulance and I was so afraid. When I tell you, I was scared to death of the ambulance driver. I thought the ambulance driver was trying to inject me with cocaine. When I was fighting them, I was flailing, I was crying. It was a shit show, okay? They finally got me to the emergency room and they put me in my own room immediately. And I was in the room and I just remember it being so bright, all the lights, okay? And the nurse came in and she said I needed to pee, okay? I peed and then she left out the door, and that's when I started to believe that Miss Marva, this lady I worked with at Kroger, was on the other side of the door, and she was smoking a crack pipe, and she was blowing the crack pipe smoke underneath the door to me. So I get on the ground in the emergency room in my bedroom, and I'm trying to suck the crack smoke from Miss Marva. Like, this is so crazy. I finally get up, you guys, and the nurse and the doctor came in there and they kept asking me, "Nicole, did you do bath salts? Did you do bath salts?" And I'm aware enough to tell them, "No, I didn't do bath salts." And I'm listing all the things I shot up, you know what I mean, that day. And I told them I had been on like a 4 or 5 day, bender. I had not been asleep. And so they gave me 1 shot of Thorazine and 1 shot of Haldol. And they left the room. They gave me that shot of Thorazine, that shot of Haldol, and my fucking hallucinations turned into like Johnny Depp fucking, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was seeing all kinds of colors and frogs on the walls. It was very, very bright and very, like, the colors were very vivid. But I wasn't going to sleep. I was wide awake. I was wound for sound. And so like 30 minutes later, fear and loathing, yeah, they came in and I was still not asleep. And I remember them talking to themselves about how I should have been knocked the fuck out from that Thorazine and Haldol. I was so high, you guys, that I knew that I was safe because I was in the emergency room. I was scared when I was with the ambulance driver because I thought he was trying to hurt me, but when I got into the emergency room, I wasn't scared at all. I was just kind of like being a nuisance, And so they came back in and they saw that I was still awake and kicking. So they gave me another shot of Thorazine and another shot of Haldol. And that is when I went into a coma. My internal organs began to shut down. Okay. I literally was dying. Okay. I went into a coma. They had to intubate me, all that stuff. And I was in there for 7 fucking days. Comatose, right? Comatose. Well, they call my mom and dad and they're like, "Listen, you guys need to come up here because your daughter's in a coma, And my mom said that when her and my dad got up there, my dad walked in the room. And she said he fell to his knees. And she said she's never seen my dad, have that kind of reaction before, but sitting there and seeing their firstborn daughter basically dead in the bed, and my mom ended up staying with me there the whole 7 days. My dad had to go to work, but my dad always would tell me, "You're gonna quit, right? this is going to be the time that you're going to turn your life around and you're not going to go back, right? Every time I would go to treatments, every time, you guys, he would say, this is it, right? This is the time. And I would always be like, yeah, Dad, this is it. This is the time, you know? I felt so guilty because my parents, you know, my parents are good, very good parents. So my dad had to go to work and he was just devastated, you know, and my mom stayed there with me and she said, she told me all this. She said they didn't wash you, they didn't brush your hair, they didn't do anything. So my mom had got a warm washcloth and was washing me because she said I had blood and scabs and track marks all over my arms and my chest where I had been shooting up and like missing and, you know, just a hot mess express, you know? And so my mom got a warm rag and was wiping me down and cleaning me, brushing my hair out so it didn't get all matted up. And it was on the 7th day, my old sponsor, Robin, came up to the hospital with my mom. And Robin was an old school crackhead, y'all. And she was cool as fuck. She used to work at the truck stop. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. She was a prostitute at the truck stop. But she was cool as hell, and she had good sobriety, and she told it like it is, you know? And her and my mom were sitting there, and I don't remember how I started to wake up, but I remember having that thing in my mouth and them having to get it out of my throat. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, ugh. And then I was able to talk to my mom and to Robin. And my mom, the first thing out of her mouth was, do you know how long you've been here? And I was like, no. And she says, you've been in a coma for 7 days, Nicole. For 7 days. And at that very moment in time, all I could think about was how I wanted to get out of the hospital so I could go get high, because I was so miserable with myself and I hated myself. I didn't love myself, you know? And she said, where's your car at? And I was like, it's at Gerald's house. All my stuff's there. Like, it's safe. It's all good, you know? And my parents just, you know, they were like, oh, yeah, right. Your stuff's probably stolen. Those hooligans probably sold your shit. They took me to Gerald's house. My car was there. Everything was there. I got my car. And that's when Robin said, hey, you know, you can move in with me and you'll have to pay rent, but you can stay here and get back on your feet. And, you know, I'll help you get sober and stuff. When I tell you guys, I moved in with her all right, but I didn't get back on my feet and I did not get sober. I just got worse. But one thing I did do was I paid her that rent every month. That was one thing about me. I could be strung the fuck out. But if I lived somewhere and had a rent payment and a fucking car payment, that shit was going to get paid because it was important to me. I didn't want to get my car taken away. I didn't want to lose my place to sleep, you know? And so I would pay that shit and I would go to my jobs, spun the fuck out. That's how I ended up losing my job with Kroger, was because I was so high that they knew. And they said, we want you to come take a drug test, Nicole. And I said, okay. And then they took me all the way down to the place to take a drug test. And then I told them, hell no. Me too. I'm happy to be free too, y'all. But, and listen, the reason why I get emotional when I share this story is because, like, I realize how close to death I was. I realize it makes me sad. It makes me sad that I felt like I needed to use substances to that degree to escape reality. It makes me, you know, sad that I felt that I didn't deserve to have recovery, you know? But that's just one of the times that I had that was one of the times. That's the most, probably one of the craziest times that I had was when I, went to that coma. And I didn't get sober. That was in 2011. I didn't get sober until 2015. I met my husband in 2012 and I fell in love with him, got pregnant in 2013 and ended up getting sober in 2015. But I had to go through like some really shitty shit to realize that drugs are just not for me. I think that's why I kept on going back to substances for so long, because I needed to just like figure out that, hey, you can't use drugs. Like when you use drugs, you fuck up your life, Nicole. When you use drugs, you hurt yourself, you hurt other people, and it's just not conducive, Piercy, Arkansas? No. The story I just told you guys was here when I moved to Little Rock. So I lived in Hot Springs from the time I was 4 years old till the time I was, till 2009. 2008, 2009, because I went to prison in 2009 for possession of a controlled substance. I went to prison on a probation revocation. And when I went to prison, I did my year, and when I came out, I wanted to move back to Hot Springs. And I was like, yeah, what's up, Garland County? I called my probation officer. I was like, I'm fixing to get out. What's up? And she was like, you're banned from the county. And I said, I'm what? She said, you're banned from the county. You can't come back to Garland County. And I was like, oh, hell no. And so I was like, what do you mean I can't come back to Garland County? That's like where my family lives. I ain't got no more family. She's like, figure it out. And so I called around and I found a sober living halfway house here in Little Rock. I found a sober living house here in Little Rock, and I paroled out to that. I have 100% been there, Nicole. There were so many times I didn't feel like I would ever have the life I have now. I feel like because of all I went through, I appreciate life even more. Absolutely. Me too. Me too. I was put on probation because I got caught with methamphetamine. It was 2008, and I had been smoking and snorting meth for a hot little minute, since about 2000. For about 8 years, I had been smoking and snorting meth, okay? Well, this time in 2008, in November, I was sitting at my friend's house doing a hot rail in the living room. And I looked up after doing my hot rail, and everybody was coming out from the back bedroom. And they all looked like they were spun the fuck out 12 times higher than I was. Okay? And so I got curious, and I went back to the back bedroom. And that's where I found my two friends, Nate and Tammy, fixing up shots for themselves. And I said, I want a shot. And they said, no, we ain't giving you one. And I said, if you don't give me one, I'm going to do it my motherfucking self, and I might hurt myself. And that's when they said, okay, we'll shoot you up. And my friend Tammy shot me up for the first time. It was 40 units. I'll never forget it. It looked like maple syrup in the syringe. When you would tip it over, the bubble would barely move. That's how thick this fucking shot was. And they gave it to me, and I was hooked from that. I'm a very blunt person, so I'm just going to tell you guys. So trigger warning, please listen. Trigger warning, trigger warning. They shot me up with that shot, you guys, and I literally had an orgasm on spot, right there. Boom! I felt it like everything happened down there. It was like, it felt like I had peed my pants, okay? And it was so strong that I was like, hooked, right away, hooked. And I was hooked. I locked myself in the bathroom that night, and I taught myself how to shoot up, because I never wanted to have to ask anybody. to do it for me. And so I locked myself in there, figured it out, got it all set, got myself set up. And that was history, dude. From that day forward, I was banging meth like it was going out of style, man. And I was constantly trying to catch that high that I had gotten that first time. And I'll tell you, I never got that feeling again. I've never had a shot do to me what that first shot did. Ever. Ever. I tried my hardest. I chased it for so long. I didn't realize that I would never be able to get it. You know? It is so powerful. That's what, listen to me. It is so powerful. That's why I try to tell people it's not, this drug is so powerful that, like, you shouldn't even try it, dude, because if you do, you're gonna be fucking hooked. Like, that's how powerful it is. And it takes your soul from you. It literally consumes every part of your life. Okay, I became a literal pincushion, a needle junkie. I would lock myself in my bathroom, dude, and I would shoot up for hours. Okay, just shooting up. Okay, shooting up multiple times. It was horrible, 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 horrible. When I think back to it, I'm ashamed of that shit, you know? But that is what caught me up. That's how I got caught up with dope, because the minute I started shooting up, that's when all my fucking brains went to mush, and I was just very careless. And I would have whoever in my car, driving my car, doing this, that, and the third. And I had this guy driving my car who was selling and cooking dope. We literally stayed with a dope cook, and we were leaving his house, coming in and out all the time. And I should have known better, but I didn't. And we ended up getting pulled over. We got set up. Yeah, I do believe it has harsher effects on women. We got set up by the Terry twins, and I tell stories about these bitches all the time because they're known confidential informants in Hot Springs, Arkansas. They're literally 4'11", 4'9", little twins with mullets. Okay, when I tell you guys, these little tweaker twins, they fucking were always stealing from me, fucking setting me up, all kinds of shit. So this one day, the guy's name was Quincy. Me and Quincy had just went over to their house, and we were giving everybody methamphetamine, selling it to everybody, right? And we were getting in my car. He was driving. I was in the passenger seat, and we were leaving their house. We didn't even get a block down the road from their house, and my car was surrounded. Okay? My car was driving, and all of a sudden, whoop, you know what I mean? They grabbed my driver door, threw it open, grabbed him, threw him out. Okay, the sheriff guy or whatever detective jumps in my car, throws it in park, is screaming at me, "Get out! Get on the ground!" And I'm on the ground like this, spread eagle. I'm on the ground, spread eagle, spun the fuck out. I wish I could find my fucking mugshot. I have not, I can't, I've tried to find it. I cannot find my mugshot. If one of y'all can find it, I'll pay you for it. So I was spread eagle on the ground, and I'll never forget it. It was Officer Jessup. Okay. He knew my parents. He knew my sister. My sister used to get in trouble all the time too. So he was like, "Which one is this, Michelle or Nicole?" And I was like, "It's Nicole." But I remember him asking me if I had anything in my purse or on me that could stick him. And I told him no, because I genuinely didn't remember sticking anything in my purse that could stick him. Well, I had a syringe in my purse with some dope in it, and he was pissed. He was cussing me out, screaming and yelling at me, threw me in the back of the cop car and was just, "What if I had gotten stuck?" And he was really, really mad about it. But I was denying that it was my bag, and it literally had my ID in it. Like, it was just crazy. But they locked me and Quincy up. And when we got there, Quincy had given me his cell phone and told me to call everybody in his cell phone. And that's what I did. They allowed me to use the phone, and I called everybody on his cell phone. And there was some tweaker who decided to come bail us out. And we were out within the hour, but that was how I caught my charge for possession of a controlled substance. Yeah, buddy.
Can I change? Anthony, this one has like shit stains.
Yeah, you need to take a shower, buddy. Tonight's your shower night, so why don't you go ahead and get it ready?
Well, can I play with Zane for?
Nate, look at me. You literally have 10 more minutes, and then it's bath time. Okay? Okay. Oh Lord. Okay. Seriously, you can just go play in your shorts. You're fine. Yep, Lemon. It's almost like when you fall in love and you're obsessed and chasing a person, but it's like the person doesn't exist. Yeah. And so that's how I got my charge for a possession of a controlled substance. And they gave me 3 years probation. And I thought that I could handle it. I thought I could get on probation and, do the thing and manage it. I couldn't. It was a setup. I should have never even taken probation. The moment I got on probation, you guys, I was already up to no good. I paid all my fines off and all that shit. So all I had to do was report. That's it. Report and take the drug tests. When I tell you guys, I couldn't pass one fucking drug test, dude. I was a hot mess. So I was failing for Klonopin, right? Klonopin and pain pills. And so she was talking mad shit to me because I kept failing for, pills. So I said, okay, bitch, I got one for you. And I went to a script doctor and got a motherfucking prescription for Klonopin, Somas, and Norcos. And came back to her office like, I got a prescription, right? And she looked at me, she said, then I want to see your bottles because I want to count your pills. Checkmate. And I was like, bitch, they're gone. I ate them things the first day I got them, But she hated me, my probation officer did. And I remember she said, I'm giving you one more chance. And she sent me to treatment at this place called South Arkansas Substance Abuse Center. It was ran by this guy that was a recovering heroin addict. And I'll never forget it. When I got to this treatment center, it was a detox and treatment center. I went outside to smoke a cigarette because I was detoxing. I had shit all over the floor. It was so embarrassing. Like diarrhea was shooting out of my ass. And I was outside crying, smoking a cigarette. And they had basset hounds and basset hound puppies, like 7 little puppies, and a mommy and a daddy basset hound. And when I tell you, when I saw them dogs, I was like, everything's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Because I looked forward to seeing those dogs, feeding those dogs, playing with those dogs, every single day. I ended up making friends with a girl named Elsie. And she ended up breaking her ankle when we were outside playing volleyball. So they assigned me to her. So basically, I had to take showers with this girl, everything. Had to go to the bathroom with her, everything. Because she couldn't do it on her own because of her ankle. And so for the last 2 weeks I was there, I was taking care of her. So when it was time for me to graduate, they offered me... they said, why don't you stay here and move into our sober living and we'll help you find a job. And I should have stayed. I should have stayed there, and I didn't. And I left and I came back to Hot Springs. When I came back to Hot Springs, what is the easiest place to contact you? On my Instagram, just shoot me a message there. They come through. They're the easiest to filter. You know what I'm saying? To get to. Ouch. I should have went to this, but I didn't. I came back to Hot Springs and I relapsed shortly after that. And when I relapsed, that's when my probation officer, it's in El Dorado. It's shut down now. My probation officer was like, you're going to prison. I'm revoking you. You got, and I went and I paid my warrant because it was like she put a warrant out for my arrest. I paid my warrant and I had exactly 30 days until I had to go to court and be sentenced to prison. And so when I tell you guys, I was throwing down those last 30 days. I was throwing down, doing all the crazy shit I could do. Um, just fucking wilding out. And I when I reported that November, I'll never forget it. I parked my car out in front of the courthouse. I put my keys where the gas tank's at, put them in there. I called my mom and my dad, and I said, "Hey, you ain't got to worry about coming up here. I'm about to go to prison. Just make sure you put some money on my books. And I'm really sorry, and I love you guys. My keys are in the gas tank." And my mom was like, "Okay." So I had 7 Xanax bars in my pocket, and I took them Xanax bars the minute that fucking judge slammed down her gavel and sent me to prison. I took them Xanax bars. They shackled me up, and I went into a fucking deep sleep for like 3 days up in that bitch. Okay. And when I finally woke up, 3 days later, I was like, checking it out, seeing who all was there, and all the girls were like, DeMayo, wake up. And they all knew my sister because my sister would get in trouble all the time and end up in jail. And so a lot of the girls that were in there in county, I knew. So I got to talking to everybody, and I learned real quick that if I had commissary, it was basically like having money. I could get whatever I needed as long as I had commissary. So I called my mama, and I had her put money on my books so that way I could, get commissary and all that shit. And for the next about 60 to 90 days, I, holed up with these girls in a corner cell, and we would fucking sit there and tell stories all day long. We would tell war stories all day long about our life on the streets and shit. And it was fucking hilarious, you guys. When I tell you the cell that we were in, listen to this shit. The cell that we were in, you could talk through the toilet to the guy's pod. So all you had to do is go, "Yo, Philip, you over there?" And then they could hear on the other side through the pipes. And so one day, I didn't know this yet, and I was in my cell all the way at the far end sleeping. And I hear, "DeMayo, wake up. You got a phone call." So I get up and I'm walking to the phone, and I pick it up, and there's nobody there. And then one of the girls sticks her head out of we called it our community cell, of the community cell. And she's like, "Hey, bitch, down here," And so I ran down there, and they were like, "You got a phone call on the toilet phone." And I was like, "What?" And then I hear my friend Philip say, "Hey, girl, what's up?" You know what I mean? I was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And we would pass the time talking to the boys on the toilet phone. Man, when I tell you guys, we made the time go by. And before I knew it, my time was almost completely up in county. Right before I got ready to go to prison, a girl came in. Her name was Candace Regal. Candace was my sponsor, my very first sponsor I ever had back in like 2004, okay? When I first went to treatment for the first time ever. And she was in there, on meth charges. And it was just so crazy because she was going to the same place I was going to. And so they ended up putting her in the cell with me, and I left out, to go to prison, and she came shortly after me, and we were there together. But the prison that I was placed in, and I went to prison in Arkansas. I live in Arkansas. I went to prison at Pine Bluff. It was called RPF, Regional Punishment Facility or something like that. And it was a boot camp style prison for non-violent offenders. A lot of people who had drug charges, a lot of people who had, theft charges, shit like that. And basically, the prisoners ran the whole compound. We did everything. We cooked, we cleaned, we fucking cut the lawn, we did the construction. The prisoners did everything. The guards were just there to supervise us. That's the whole compound was like a little city, okay? It was like a little city, and it was just like it was a well-oiled little city that everything was on a time. We woke up at early in the morning for breakfast. We marched to breakfast. We had to do everything military style. It was pretty crazy. Sorry, y'all. I got to let me see. I'd be a nurse. I'd been a nurse for some years already, was just out and happened to be wearing that shirt when I got pulled over. We should be grateful. I remember doing lines every 30 minutes. My liver would start hurting, yet I would sit and watch porn, heart pounding and soul dying. Yes, I know how you feel about that. I know how you feel, man. Rehab romances never have ended well for me. I meet the most toxic females. Um, a lot of the times when I would do Xanax, you guys, like that time I took a lot, so I passed out. But a lot of the times when I would take Xanax, it wouldn't make me go to sleep. It would just give me fucking balls of steel. Like I wouldn't be afraid of nothing. Okay? I would not be afraid of anything. And in fact, I concocted this whole scheme when I was high on Xanax. And I ran this scheme for like 2 years and made mad money off of it. So I had moved up here to Little Rock, and I was staying in this high rise across the street from the mall. And I realized that every Tuesday in the mall, the truck came, and this truck would be delivering like the really nice purses like Coach, Dooney and Burke, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel, those purses, you know? And because they were coming off the truck, they weren't chained to the display like all the other ones were. And so I would go in and I would slip 2 to 3 purses on each arm. And then I would casually walk out the entrance into the main mall. And the minute I crossed over into the main mall, I would dart and go to the exit, and I was out of there. And then I would take those purses and I would sell them, you know, to drug dealers' girlfriends and all that kind of stuff, so I could get money, you know, or get pills or whatever. But Xanax gave me, you know, courage. It was like courage in a pill. A lot of people, I believe that it should say a warning on the box of Xanax that you might turn into a kleptomaniac. But anyway, I was pretty wild and stupid in my active addiction. I overdosed many times, many times. I would overdose because I would take Xanax and then I would shoot oxys. The reason why I would overdose is because I would forget that I had taken Xans, and then I would do like 2 or 3 Roxy 30s at one time. And I would just be like out there, you know? Back whenever I was using, there was no such thing as fentanyl in people's shit. The only fentanyl that we were getting was in fentanyl patches. And we would chew those suckers up and suck the gel out of them, you know? I remember when I did heroin for the first time, because here in Arkansas, back then, there wasn't even heroin, you guys. All it was Roxy 30s, Dilaudids, morphine, you know, that kind of shit. The wildest thing I did while I was high, whenever I did that heroin though, I remember being so afraid because for some reason I thought it was going to be like scary or something, but it was not scary at all, and I loved it. You know, but like back then it was still something that I couldn't find. Like I could find pills no matter what. I have done some really stupid stuff in my active addiction. I pulled a gun on a hotel owner one time because they wouldn't rent me and my husband a room, and I thought I was a fucking gangster. I I got knocked the fuck out one time by a bitch named Amy, and then she tried to drive over my head with her truck. Like, I'm not afraid to admit, like, when I tell you guys I was tweaking and I had been up for like some days, and this girl was mad at me because she thought that I was like fucking with her boyfriend, but I wasn't. And so she called me outside, and it was 3 a.m. And I walked outside and I was like, hey girl, what's up? And she straight stole on me, right? And I dropped to the ground, and then she jumped in her truck to go and run me over. Man, when I seen her get in that truck, I fucking rolled. I got up and I fucking ran as fast as my little legs could take me. There was smoke coming off my feet. When they say fight or flight, I was flying, bitch. Flying. I ran, hit the door, and I was like, Tara, Amy knocked me the fuck out. And Tara was pissed. She was like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? Because I'm not I don't fight people. Okay? I do not fight people. The only person I've ever gotten physical and fought is my ex-boyfriend, LD, and he beat my ass. Almost killed me. My friend wants me to try heroin with him, and I have never tried it. After hearing your stories, I don't want to try it. Listen to me. I show greed. It will take your life, okay? Once you try it, you won't be able to get it out of your head. And in fact, that one time that you try it could be your last time. Most likely it will be, because the way things are nowadays, there's no heroin out there. It's all fentanyl-laced bullshit. And so you'll do it, you'll overdose, and you'll die. And we'll all be reading about I show greed in the newspaper, in the obituaries. This is what I teach my son too, you guys. I teach my son this. You don't ever have to worry about saying no, or peer pressure, or becoming addicted if you don't ever try it. I can tell you everything you want to know about drugs. Okay? I can tell you everything you want to know. If you're curious, let me share with you. I'll tell you everything you want to know. Right? But as long as you don't try it, you don't ever have to worry about becoming addicted to it. Right. And I'll tell you this, like, we think those people are our friends in the moment because we're young and we're dumb and we're full of cum. But true friends are going to want you and encourage you to do things that are healthy for your life. They're going to be helping you be a better person, you know? I look back on all the friends that I used drugs with all those years. And do you want to know how many of those people I talk to today? How many of those people I talk to today? I don't talk to any of those people. Any of those people. Most of them have passed away, but even the ones that haven't passed away, I am in recovery. I have nothing in common with people who are using drugs still. I have nothing in common with like, we don't have anything to talk about. There's not any common interests, you know? And so that's why that's why things like, when I see people who are sober, who are keeping a crowd around them of using people who are still using, that is a red flag to me. Red motherfucking flag. Okay? I know all about harm reduction. I can introduce you guys to one of the baddest ass harm reductionists this side of the Mississippi, okay? And he is amazing. He is very smart, and he works hard, and he helps people all day long who are still using substances. But there is a time and there is a place, okay? We don't have people who are using substances up in our house. We don't have people who are using substances over to play with our kids. You know, like, We bring people who are using substances Narcan. We provide people that are using substances with resources such as state insurance and help them get signed up for it. I worked with my boss's harm reduction institute, and what we did was we would set up tents outside of the office, behind his office, and we would have a line of hundreds of people. And the first tent would be us getting their sharps and trading their sharps in for fresh, clean ones. Okay, with that and cookers and all the stuff that they need to do their thing. Then the next tent would be where they could get water, something to eat. Then the next tent would be where they could get signed up for state insurance. Then the next tent would be wound care for any abscesses or, wounds that they had. You know, it is really hard to be around anything like that. My best friend came to my grandma's funeral and I was so broken, and she gave me some Perk 15s and I spiraled. I had to cut her out even though I love her dearly. Yeah, and Mandy, like, I know it's hard, but you're doing the right thing, because it's not a game. Like, you guys, back in the day, you could get high and it was like, it was a fun and games, right? Now it's not. Like, you guys don't have the opportunity to like experiment and stuff. Like, it's a death game out there now. And so, I'm all out of whack, Manny. I think top priority is still those. So, it's like I am all about helping people. I help people every single day. I talk to people every single day who are in active addiction. Okay, example. Me and my little boy, when we're driving down the street, no, not really. When we're driving down the street, when we see people who are asking for money, I always stop and give them some money, and I ask them their story. I just say, like, how did you become homeless? Like, what's your situation, And if they're willing to share with me, they'll share with me. Well, my little boy has really become accustomed to this. And so when we'll be driving down the road, if he sees somebody, he'll say, Mom, are we going to stop and talk to those people and ask them their story and give them some money? So one day we were driving down the street. I got to tell y'all this story. And there was a gentleman sitting at the bus stop with his head in his hands like he was crying. He was a tall gentleman, dirty blonde hair, and he appeared to be homeless. So Nate said, Mom, are we going to stop and talk to him? I said, what the hell? So I pulled over and I parked my car. And I got out of the car and I told Nate to wait until I gave him the go-ahead to come over, right? So I walked over to the gentleman and I stepped in front of him and I said, hey, man, what's up? And he looked up and he pulled his face from his hands and he looked at me and he said, Nicole DeMayo? And I said, yeah. And he goes, it's me, Ian. You guys, this kid was somebody I went to high school with 20 years ago, okay? I don't live in my hometown anymore. When I tell you, I could not believe it. I was like, what's up, man? What are you doing out here? I waved Nate over. I said, what are you doing? What happened? And that's when he told me. He said, he's a doctor, and he got prescribed pain medicine for his back. He started taking the pain medication. One thing led to another, and he became addicted to it. That wasn't enough, and he went to the streets for heroin. His wife left him and took their daughter. He didn't lose his medical license, but, he basically walked away from his practice. Okay? And he was sitting there in front of me, addicted to heroin. And I said, you know what? This is a fucking miracle. God put me in your path. I said, my little boy said, Mom, aren't we going to stop and talk to that guy? I said, I wasn't going to stop. I was going to pass you by because I was trying to get home. I was hungry. And my son said, let's stop and talk to him. I said, you don't understand. This is a miracle, man. I said, I'm in recovery and I'm going to help you. I was like, don't cry. Everything's going to be okay. And so I gave him my phone number and he gave me his phone number. And I told him to hang tight. I'd be in touch with him. And I came straight home and I got on my YouTube channel. And we raised $350 to put this kid into sober living and pay his first month's rent. We put him in sober living. I took him down there. I paid the rent. Took him down to the methadone clinic, got him on his methadone, helped him get a job, and the rest is history. And that is how I help people that are still in their active addiction. I do stuff, I'm around people that are using substances sometimes too, but I'm around people who are using substances that are at the turning point. They're wanting to make a change. They're ready to change their life. They're not going to bring substances around me and tempt me or try to harm me. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to disrespect me. And so that right there, when that happened, I have a video of it on my YouTube channel. I'll have to find it. I'll find it and I'll post it in my community tab. I have a video of him. You can hear his voice because he was on the phone. I had him on speakerphone. I wanted my audience to, hear him, and I wanted him to say hi to everybody because I literally just came home and said, hey guys, I need to raise $350 because I want to send this guy to sober living. I found a sober living house that he can move into today. And that's all I had to do was ask my subscribers, and they were sending me money straight to my PayPal. And I took the money and I did exactly what I said I was going to do with it. Took it straight and I paid it for him because I wanted to make sure it got paid, But when I tell you, when that happened and it was like God picked me up and put me in his pathway, that was another reassurance that I was on the path doing what I was supposed to be doing. That was in 2019, right before I got my job working with Dr. B. Okay. And when that happened, I knew, I was like, I'm on the right path. This is literally what God saw for me to do, is to be of service to other people, is to help other people, This is the stuff I love to hear from YouTubers. Nicole, you are one of the more deserving people on this platform. With great power comes great responsibility, and I love that you get it. Thanks, Mandy. I appreciate that for real. I try to tell these younger kids, do not end up like me, 30, relying on a milligram of Suboxone to get me out of bed. Hey, it's okay. You're all a loser. I have to take Suboxone too. Here's the thing. Think about it like this, okay? Many people have to take medication to function in their everyday lives, okay? Some people have to take insulin. Some people have to take mental health medications. Some people have to take mental health medications and insulin and Suboxone, right? That's the beautiful thing about it, is that we have the technology and the science and all this stuff, that we have these medications available that can help us stay on the right path, And so instead of looking at it as a negative thing, look at it from the point of view that, damn, you're lucky that you have access to this kind of medication, because there's people in other countries that have no access to medication-assisted treatment. There's people in other country or live in our country who are in rural areas, who are poverty-stricken, who are struggling with addiction, who cannot afford or can't get to get MAT treatment, okay? And so what I look at it as, I am privileged to be able to utilize medication-assisted treatment. I am grateful that I have it at my disposal for when I need it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many people that would kill to be where we're at and have the access that we have to the resources that we have, I am kind of surprised and kind of not about Jessica. I loved her at the beginning, and last year though I started seeing her make excuses to use various stuff. And you know, here's the thing, you guys, about so we can talk. I don't. At the end of the day, we have to be honest with ourselves, okay? If we cannot be honest with ourselves, then we cannot recover, okay? Honesty is one of the major keystones to recovery, okay? If you cannot get honest, it says it in the big book. It says some people are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They seem to have been born that way. They cannot grasp a manner of living that requires a rigorous honesty. Okay? Like straight up, they cannot be honest. No matter what, they will lie they will lie until it kills them. Okay? There are people who are like that who will never be able to recover. It's sad, but it's true, you know? And so when you are watching someone and they go from being totally abstinent from all mind or mood altering substances, okay, to going from abstinence to smoking medical marijuana, okay, for their mental health, all right, out of nowhere, and you really were like, whoa, where did this come from? I have nothing against medical marijuana. In fact, I honestly believe that medical marijuana is it's like one of the lesser evils of anything. You know, my sister utilizes medical marijuana. My sister works at a dispensary. My sister's very, very educated when it comes to marijuana. I don't know shit about marijuana, but my sister, she could tell you about all the strains and all that kind of stuff, okay? But when you go and you're adding that to your arsenal of recovery tools, okay, I can deal with that, right? But if you're adding that to your arsenal of recovery tools, what else are you doing, okay? Because just smoking marijuana and getting stoned out of your mind is not recovery, okay? True medical marijuana, Cali sober, is using marijuana in it's using it for therapeutic reasons only. Okay? People who are Cali sober use medical marijuana in moderation at certain times, right? And so it's a very controlled use. It's not blowing blunts. It's not laying in the bed kicked back with a bowl. Okay? It is very structured. It's structured. Just like our medication-assisted treatment, Suboxone, is structured, okay? That's how medical marijuana is supposed to be in Cali Sober. It's a structured use of marijuana, okay? Like a MAT treatment. There's a lot of people who come on this platform who are utilizing marijuana, and they are full of shit. And they are blowing mushroom clouds of smoke 24/7, saying stoned out of their mind, checking out of life. That's not recovery, okay? When you're checking out of life all the time and you're using a substance, marijuana, to escape reality or to deal with life's problems, life's issues, that's not recovery, right? Recovery is when we are actually working on our life. We're living life on life's terms. We're dealing with life as it comes. We don't need a substance to be a buffer to handle life. Okay? Do you see what I'm saying? And here's the thing, like I said, I absolutely 100% believe that medical marijuana can help people, but I believe that you really have to be utilizing it in the proper way, because it's so easy to just smoke and escape. Smoke and escape. Smoke and escape. If I'm just smoking all the time, then how am I learning how to cope with my anxiety? How am I learning how to cope with my triggers? How am I learning how to cope with, how am I learning how to communicate with people in a healthy way? You know, like I'm utilizing this substance that's blocking me off from that, you know? And so that's why I believe, and this is what I truly believe, I believe that a person should get sober first, okay? Get sober first. Get yourself a good 6 months to a year in recovery with therapy, you know, really, really changing your behaviors, and then introduce something into your regimen if you are wanting to use medical marijuana and it is suggested to you by your doctor. Then I would kind of work that in there. But I would give myself a good 6 months to a year to be straight. You know what I'm saying? And that's just because I would want you to be able to know what you would feel like without it, you know? That's all. And I think that a lot of people who do it that way have a lot of success doing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And see, my sister has glaucoma. Okay. My sister's a recovering drug addict too, y'all. My sister and me, we shot methamphetamine together. We both caught hepatitis C together. Like, we're just hot messes, and we're hot mess expresses. Okay. My sister got sober, and she utilizes medical marijuana, and it helps her with her glaucoma. And my sister has severe bipolar disorder. My sister has such severe bipolar disorder that when when we were little, my sister used to chase us around the house with a butcher knife and try to kill us because she was so angry. You know what I'm saying? Like, we went through a lot of, I didn't tell you guys about this stuff, but in my family, we went through a lot of hard times when my sister was about 13, 14 years old, because my parents didn't know that she had bipolar disorder. And back then, bipolar disorder, any mental illness, was not talked about. Nobody talked about mental illness like they do now. You guys have no idea how blessed you are to be living in the time that you live in, because mental health is so widely spoken about. Back in 1996, 95, 94, nobody was talking about mental health. And if you did, you were going to the fucking crazy house, the loony bin. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people say. You were crazy. People called my sister crazy. Okay. And so my parents didn't know what to do. And we had no idea what was going on. My sister was jumping out of her window, being super promiscuous, attacking me and my sisters and me and my little sister and my mom with, weapons and shit. And it was just like really scary, really scary. But medical marijuana helps my sister to be happy. She doesn't have episodes like that. Like, my sister used to get arrested all the time because she would go to her ex-boyfriend's house and kick the door in and try to fight his family. She would literally go to a bitch's house who was looking at her old man the wrong way. Like, she would just snap. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just know that she's diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Now, because she has manic highs and big highs and big lows. Because there would be times where my sister, without the assistance of substances, without drugs, would stay up for like a week without being able to sleep. And she would want to sleep, but she would not be able to sleep. It was really scary. It was really scary. She was also diagnosed with bipolar disorder, antisocial personality disorder, something defiance disorder. Y'all probably know what that is. Oppositional defiance disorder. Okay, and what was happening was my sister wasn't going to school, and the courts were coming after my mother and father and going to put my parents in jail because my sister was missing so much school. So my mom and dad had to fins petition my sister, which means that they basically had to give up, um, they had to allow the state of Arkansas to take control of my sister because my mother and father could not get her to do what she was supposed to do. So the state of Arkansas stepped in and threw my sister in juvenile jail. And when she got thrown in juvenile jail, that just made it even worse. So it all came to a head one day when my mom and dad got my sister, and they put something in her drink. She fell asleep. And they drove her up to this place here in Little Rock called the Rose Home. And my dad was taking her up there, and she woke up. And he had to grab her and, tackle her and carry her. And my dad, I've only seen my dad cry a few times, okay? And this was one of them. With tears coming down his eyes, was taking my sister into the mental institution. My sister went into the mental institution, you guys. She probably weighed like 125 pounds. She had a six-pack. She had the most beautiful body. My sister had a body like J-Lo. Like, seriously, like J-Lo. Booty and all. And May put my sister on so many pills that when we went to visit her for the first time, she was like comatose. She was a shell of the person that she was. And my dad was so upset. He was like, we got to break her out of here. We got to bust her out, And so she stayed in there for 90 days. And we came back again. And she had gained 100 pounds, literally, in the short time that we had left and came back, right? The medications they had put my sister on had shut her thyroid gland down. It was a combination of the lithium and something else, but it shut her thyroid gland down. Her thyroid gland completely stopped working, and she gained weight rapidly. My mom and dad got her out of there and brought her home, and they got her on the right medication for her. Right? They got her in to see a doctor, a psychiatrist, and she got on the right regimen of medications, and she was doing really good. And she was like 16 and a half, about to be 17. And that's when my sister got pregnant. She got pregnant, and she stopped taking all of her medications, and she had my little nephew. His name is Nicholas Anthony Baccarella. And he was absolutely the cutest little guy. And my sister got back on her meds, and she did really, really well until he was like 3 years old. And around the time he was 3 years old, my sister started to struggle again. And that's when my sister shot up meth with me for the first time. I feel so guilty about this. But we were, I shot her up for the first time. And I hate myself for doing that. She says I wasn't the first one that did it. Jonathan did. But I still feel bad that I did it anyway, But she started to struggle really, really bad. And at that time, my mom and dad took custody of her son and took care of him. So so he didn't have to see his mom like that, And that was one thing in my family, is that my parents always came to my sister's rescue because of her mental illness. But whenever I was getting fucked up, honey, they kicked my ass out. Boop, boop, get the fuck out of here. This story is identifying to one of our family members. Try anything you can to sleep, master on the best schedule you can. I have a family member in a very similar. My sister has bipolar. Her daughter turned 18 last year, and she decided she wanted custody of my daughter. She placed false CPS calls and destroyed my house and called the cops and lied. Damn. We have had to cut all contact. I honestly don't know what to do. She's medicated on lithium, but she's lost it. My niece dealt with SA when she was younger, and my sister has been so uncaring. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Mandy. You know what my sister finally did, what helped her, and it might help if any of you guys are struggling with mental health and you need medication. My sister got a gene test, some test where I don't know if they swab your mouth or what, but it's some genealogical test, and it basically tells you exactly what medications are best for you to be on. So now my sister has always taken Xanax. She's prescribed Xanax. She's on Xanax and then a couple of other medications, but she's always taken Xanax. And I've always asked her, like, how do you take Xanax without like abusing it? And she's like, I mean, I just do, I need it. I need it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess if I needed it, I would be different, Oh, I'm sorry, iPod. What's happened? What happened? They fucked my sister up in that Rose Home place, and it's because they didn't know what to do with her. They were just throwing medications at her, and that's why her thyroid gland shut down. But now my sister she's so funny. Y'all will see her on Saturday. Saturday, my mom and my dad and my sisters are all coming to my house because my mom's going to teach me how to do homemade Italian lasagna. And I'm going to have my mom on, and we're going to talk about addiction and recovery, and people can ask my mom questions and stuff. I'm 20 weeks pregnant since my mother passed. I've been struggling with depression, and I'm scared to tell my doctor. Oh, Amanda, don't be afraid. If you're pregnant, talk to your doctor about it and let them know how you're feeling. And try to get into like some groups with some women that are also pregnant, like some support groups online. I'll tell you, like, one of the best things I ever did was start this YouTube channel and have like an online community of people that I can connect with anytime. You know what I mean? I got dropped by my provider, and now I have to get a local doctor, and everyone has a waiting list. Oh man, I'm so sorry. For what medication are you talking about? They swab your mouth. My brother did that genetic test. He's on all kinds of pharmaceuticals, but everyone worships him because his addiction is supported by doctors. Oh, I'm sorry, just peachy. Fuck Cerebral. Don't ever waste your money with that scumbag company. Oh, I work for Recovery Delivered, but they're a good company. And Recovery Delivered does MAT treatment, online telehealth, and we're doing ADHD treatment, hormone replacement therapy, testosterone replacement therapy, and weight loss help. And Claudia, she uses the hydrocodone to control her husband. Give them to him like doctors. She gets Claudia. Oh, Lord, Mandy. That's what I would do. I would I would find some support groups with other women that you can relate to. I mean, I go live here a lot, as y'all can see. I also go live on my TikTok and my Facebook a lot. I go live on Facebook a lot. I just recently started going back live here again because of all the drama and shit that's been going on. I figured I might come on here and establish a relationship with those of you guys who just decided to subscribe to my channel. And I want to say something really fast. I have been getting some comments from people saying things like, I made my videos for clout. And I really want to explain something to you guys. My son's birthday is July 4th. I really want to explain something to y'all. What you see is what you get with me. Okay? This is what I am. Okay? I don't edit my videos. I don't care if I have makeup on or not. I'll come on here looking crazy. I have a missing tooth, for God's sakes, right? I'm not gaining any clout from doing any of this, okay? If anything, I really put myself in a position where I could have been knocked down. I could have been hated by many people, okay? There's millions of people that supported What's Her Face, okay? It could have been a lot different outcome for me, but it was honestly, I was passionate enough about the situation, and it was severe enough and serious enough to me that I was going to take that risk. Because I have literally built my channel by being authentic, honest, transparent, and I take it to offense when other people have built their channels by doing the opposite. Okay? We'll have lasagna and big booties. Yep, big booties all in the house. Big booties, big booties. I know how much the people who follow me trust me. I know because I talk to you guys. Y'all text me on my cell phone. We have relationships here. Like we're really friends, you know? I'm really connected to the people that are subscribed to my channel and support me. Okay. I know how much you guys invest in the creators that you support. I know how much you guys believe in the creators that you support. And so it makes me upset that people were being misled. Okay. And I don't want that to happen to anybody. And so if I can say something that can prevent someone from being harmed, I'm going to do that. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. I'll be 41 in March, okay? If clout doesn't pay my bills, if clout don't put fucking clothes on my son's back, if clout don't put food in the motherfucking pantry, if clout don't keep my husband sexually satisfied, then I don't want it, because it ain't gonna do nothing for me, honey. Hey Ian, I'm subscribed to your channel. I love your wicked ass laugh, man. My husband has paranoid schizophrenia. He was diagnosed like 4 months before we got together 8 years ago, and we are both in recovery and on Suboxone, but he relapses all the time. It's so very hard. Hey, Kayla, do you think that he relapses a lot because of his mental health? So when me and my husband got sober, you guys, we both got sober in 2015 at the same time. Okay? We got sober. We stayed sober. We were doing the damn thing. Bam, 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 bam. And then in 2020, my husband relapsed. Okay. Now, one thing that you need to know is that I got sober and I started doing the work. I started going to meetings. I started creating my own meetings, creating my own accountability, channel here. I started, going to therapy. I started doing all kinds of things that were going to help me to stay sober. And my husband did nothing. He just went to work and started working. Okay. And so he went to work at a job that was very stressful, that did not appreciate him, and worked him like a dog. Okay. The stress, the overworking too many hours got to him. And because he hadn't been doing anything to build his recovery and build his coping skills, when the moment arose, which was him finding a prescription bottle of Klonopin in a shopping cart, because he worked as a manager at Kroger, when the situation arose, it was like nothing but a thing, honey. He took them Klonopin and popped them bitches like he was like, boo-hoo, and he was fucked up. And so I called him that evening, and that's all I had to do was hear his voice, and I knew that he was high on Klonopin. And I confronted him and said, "You're fucked up." He said, "No, I'm not." I said, "Yes, you are." He came home. I knew that he was messed up. I told him that if he was going to be messed up, he had to go stay at his mom's house because I did not want our son to see him. Okay? Like that. So he went to his mom's house, and my husband stayed in a relapse for 6 months. For 6 months, I fixed, managed, and controlled his life. I took his car keys from him. I took his debit card from him. I took all his money from him. I did everything in my power to protect him from himself and from losing his job. And guess what happened? He continued using, and his using only got worse. It wasn't until I stopped trying to fix, manage, and control his life, and I let him truly experience the consequences of his own actions, that he was actually able to recover, because he hit bottom, he lost his job, and that's when he got sober. So I don't think kratom's not comparable to heroin. Now that's a little steep of a comparison, I think. Kratom is a plant from Southeast Asia. It's an herb. It's a tree, and it's got beautiful little green leaves. And people can chew on the leaves. That's what they do. That is what the people that live in Southeast Asia. That's what they would do. Is they would just take a leaf off the tree and chew on it. Okay. But what people do here is they dry those leaves up and powder them up and make teas out of them. Some people do a toss and wash method. Some people like to take capsules of it. Some people like to add potentiators with it, like lemon juice and stuff like that. I have a friend, her name is Avalon. If you're somebody who uses kratom, her name's Avalon. She used kratom to get off of Suboxone, and it really helped her a lot. The only reason why I don't go around like recommending kratom to people is because it's not FDA approved, and I want to make sure that people are getting safe things. Okay. So like if it was FDA approved where I knew that people were getting the same product and all that stuff, then I might be more likely to say, hey, but because of that, I'm weary of it. And I'm also weary because there are people who are in the kratom community who all they care about is money. And they're going and they're buying bulk amounts of kratom, and they're adding additives to it. Additives that make it stronger. Okay? Additives that are dangerous to people. Okay? Yes, additives that are dangerous to people. Now, there is a thing called a K-shot. Okay? And just so y'all know, Terry is a physician, okay? A physician's nurse practitioner or physician's assistant, but she's a doctor, okay? There's this thing called K-shots that they are selling, nurse practitioner, there you go, that they are selling at like gas stations, and they're shots, right? They're adding some kind of additive to these things that is making them very, very, very strong, okay? And people are like waking up in the morning and having to drink like, 5 of these things to get their day started. A lot of people are, what I have noticed is that the group that I'm in, there is a group that I'm in where they talk about kratom and the dangers, right? Then I'm also in a pro kratom group. I like to see both sides of it. But what I have noticed is that most of the people who have passed away from mitragenine poisoning or toxicity are men. And they all have something going on with their urinary tract whenever they get their toxicology reports done. So actually, me and Dr. B had done a video like a year, 2 years ago, where he was debating the head over the American Kratom Association, this guy named Mac Haddo. And it's real. If I wonder if we can pull up all these toxicology, because I'm telling you guys, like, something happens in the urinary area. Okay. I speak here. People are dying from kratom. In fact, we have patients who come to us addicted to kratom, and we use Suboxone to treat them. A problem is we here in the U.S. have to do everything bigger and stronger. If we drank it in a weak tea or chewed on the leaves, we'd be okay. Yeah, and that's what's happening. Is there's people who are not honest. Low shine. I'm serious, man. Like, I wouldn't tell you guys this if it did not happen, okay? I would never, ever tell you a lie, okay? Like, I have literally seen the toxicology report that says mitragenine toxicity or poisoning. I can't remember which one it says, okay? I would never tell you a lie. But what that is because of is because it's not unadulterated pure kratom, okay? People are buying this stuff, and because they want to make a profit, they're adding stuff to it that is really harming people. It's not pure unadulterated kratom. It's not. It's something, it's all kinds of stuff. And that's what's causing people harm. I truly believe, right? I would never, ever tell you guys a lie. I promise you, all right? I will, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reach out to the girl who's lost her mother. I'm going to reach out to the lady who lost her son. There's like, I want you guys to join this group so y'all can see all the parents in here who have lost their kids to poisoning of this stuff. And they have the proof to show it in an autopsy, you know? I didn't think it could happen either. You know what I mean? I didn't think that you could overdose from it either. But you know what? You know how us addicts are. Where there's a will, there's a way. And if we can make something triple the feeling, we're going to make it triple the feeling, you know? And so that is why I believe that if kratom would be regulated like medical marijuana is, right? And everybody was getting the same pure, unadulterated product, right? And it would be safe. That's what I would be totally supportive of that, right? But it comes down to greedy people wanting to make money and be a monopoly on it. And that's what's happening because the kratom industry is the wild, wild west. There's nobody to say, you can't do that. So people are opening shops up, and selling it. Like, there's this one guy who's on TikTok, and he's like always talking about being the but it's like, how do we know that he is an honest person who's not putting stuff in that can make you addicted to it? That could make you sick from it. No regulations. There's no, hey, we need to check this and make sure there's nothing else added to it, And so it's really, really, it sucks because it does help people. It does help a lot of people. I have friends who have been able to utilize it in a healthy way and utilize it to taper themselves off of opioids and then taper themselves off of kratom and disconnect from it, and who are living their best lives, but that's what happens. It's like somebody's got to ruin it, Right before COVID hit, the federal government was looking to make it illegal. It is already illegal in some states. When he decides to come off of it, he better be close to an ER because he will think he's dying. And I just peachy, I'm hearing that people have different experiences with the withdrawal from kratom, okay? And this is where I also hear people tell me that, oh, well, Nicole, you can't take more than 100 grams of kratom a day, right? But then I meet people who are taking like 180 grams of kratom a day. That's a lot of kratom. Okay. And so every single person is going to have a different experience. You know what I'm saying? A different experience to tell you how it was. I'll tell you this with Dr. B, we have people that come to us who are taking a lot of kratom and who want to get off of kratom. Okay, but they don't want to utilize, they don't want to get on Suboxone. And so what Dr. B does is he helps them and writes them a taper plan, right, to taper down off of the kratom. And then once they get down to the little bit and they're going to make the jump, then he gives them medicine that helps them to ease their withdrawal coming off of it. But I took it one time and it made me really jittery, and I did not like it. Not a jittery feeling like I like, not a meth jittery, I took too many 5-hour energy drink jittery, you know? But I want you guys to know that whatever you're doing, I want you to know that I support you and that I'm here for you, okay? I just want you to be safe. I also want you guys to be aware that, like, if you're somebody like me who is a recovering opioid addict and, you know, you've been staying sober and somebody says to you, hey, you should try kratom, this might be good for you. Like, I would be careful because it could be a slippery slope for you. You could start taking it and really like it, you know? And that's what I think happens to a lot of people who are in recovery, is they hear about something like kratom and it's like oh wow, I could get a free high, you know? I could take that and feel good. And if we're taking something to change the way we feel, to kind of escape, right? Then we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, you know? Like taking your medication as prescribed every single day, you know, is not escaping reality. But you could abuse your medication. You could overtake your medication. You could sell your medication and get other medications, you know? Yeah, and that's what you have to ask yourself. Good job, Mandy. Mandy says that she says, I thought about kratom a lot. It's why I can't try it, because I know I'm looking for escape. So that's what you have to ask yourself. Like, am I taking this to escape? Am I taking this to change the way I feel? Do you know what I'm saying? There's a will, there's a way. And I'll tell you this, like, I have some friends who have told me, like, Nicole, Suboxone is my drug of choice. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, Suboxone is my drug of choice. And I'm like, are you serious? Why? What do you get out of that? Look, like, I can't understand that, because I literally take this medication once a day, and it's like taking a vitamin. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't feel any kind of feeling from it. And I remember me and Kevin, we did a live stream together. Y'all will meet Kevin. He's real cool. Kevin has a channel called Kick and Addiction, and he would tell me about how every day when it was time for him to take his Suboxone, he would like look forward to it. And for the next hour and a half after he would take his Suboxone, he would enjoy the feeling. And I'm like, what feeling? What feeling are you getting? You know? And he would tell me that it made him feel good. It gave him energy. It did this, that, and the third. And I was just like, wow, like the only time I ever have felt a feeling from Suboxone is if I take it after not taking it for a while. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if I am taking the medication and it's in my brain, on my receptors, then I don't feel anything. Because I take it every single day. If I was to go 3, 4, 5 days without taking it and then take it, then I would feel the feeling of it, you know? Malevolent entities feeding off energy of addicts and the work of... No, I haven't. Ian, what's that? Differently, it plagues of... Which is full of... Hey, MT, what's up? About Suboxone. Methadone really messed me up, but Suboxone has never really given me a feeling of euphoria. I know some people get something off of it, but I haven't. And so that's how I was, and that's why I try to tell y'all, I support both methadone and Suboxone, but I was the same way. When I took methadone, I took it and I would keep taking it and I would overtake it and I would chase this high. Really, I ended up doing some damage when I was on methadone. My hair fell out of my head, y'all. I had a bald spot this big on my head. It was really scary. I didn't know what was happening to me, but I would get so high on the methadone and I wouldn't sleep. And I would stay in a constant state of a nod. But I would be like with my eyes rolled back in my head and all you could see was the whites of my eyes. Okay. And I wasn't getting any sleep. I wasn't eating correctly. And I was just going nuts, dude. And my hair fell out. It attracts and energetically supports them. Yeah, and you know what? Like, so, like some of you guys say, like, you would rather take medication, that you would rather take natural meds, right? And then there's some of us in here that we take prescribed medication. The reason why I prefer taking a prescribed medication is because I know that I'm being monitored by a physician. That makes me feel safer. And I know it's not just left to my own devices. Because even though I've been sober for a while, if I'm left to my own devices with a substance and I'm like, okay, Nicole, this is your blah, blah, blah for the week. What's going to end up happening is I'm going to take a bunch of it one day and not have enough for the next weeks or something like that, you know? And I do that in life with just like regular things. Like right now, I've been on here for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm live streaming like a madman right now. And then what will happen is tomorrow and the next day, I'll just do short ones. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm an all or nothing kind of bitch. Yeah, some places are okay with it, but you just got to ask around. You know what I'm saying? Oh, girl, I hear you. I could never all or nothing if I left up to me. Yeah, I could never. I don't know who made. Honestly, you guys, I don't know who made Suboxone. I know that a lot of people have like an issue with, you know, medications because of big pharma and the opiates and all that stuff. But like for me, I went from not being able to stay sober. I had never been able to stay sober. Okay. I had been trying to get sober for over 10 years. I was in and out of treatment. I ended up losing custody of my son. Nathaniel? Nate? I ended up losing custody of my son, and the only thing that has ever helped me to be able to get and stay sober has been subs. I've never been able to do. It's time to take a shower. Come on. Come on. It's time now. Come on, Nate. Take tomorrow. He knows he won't do it. And so if I could have done it without it, I would have. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't. And it saved my life. That's why I'm such a huge advocate for it. That's why I share about Recovery Delivered, because I know that there's people out there that are like me who have been trying for years to get and stay sober and have not had success. And maybe Suboxone could be the thing that helps them, like it helped me, you know? Yeah, I used to be against Suboxone too, you guys. And the reason why I was against it was because the only way that I was taught that you could get sober was through abstinence, okay? I was taught that the only way to stay sober was abstinence, that if you got sober any other way, then that wasn't recovery, and that me that where I live in the South, Bible Belt. And down here, at a lot of the AA meetings, they believe that you can basically just pray your addiction away. And I tried all of that. I tried to pray my addiction away. Yeah. That's what I was telling everybody earlier, is that we are privileged enough Nathaniel, go get in the bath. And shut off the TV, please. It's loud. Whew, mercy. We are privileged enough to be able to have access to medication, and a lot of people don't have that. Do you know what I'm saying? You're just partying in here, aren't you, Nate? Oh.
Sounds like now. Will it sound different? It doesn't sound different.
Okay. Nathaniel, I know you did not open this Mountain Dew, boy. You don't need to be drinking this. I have a little. Yeah, it's very, very small percentage. So around here, we don't talk about dose sizes, Denise, and I'll tell you why, okay? Because everybody is different. And so what I might consider a large dose to somebody else might be just a regular dose, And so I try to stay away from saying, I catch myself saying it too sometimes, so don't feel bad. I'll say I'm only on 1/4 milligram, or I'm on a small dose. I try really hard not to say that because I don't want to make anybody feel, uncomfortable. But 100 milligrams is honestly a regular amount. When me and my husband were taking methadone, I was taking 160 milligrams, sometimes more than that, every day. And if you're on fentanyl, coming from fentanyl onto methadone, you might need that much to be able to get yourself stabilized. So you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. You're all. Thanks, Ian. You can listen to me, you guys. It's not hard. You can taper off Suboxone, okay? Here's the thing, okay? When you're tapering, this is the problem that people have, and I see. I would like to call myself a taper coach, okay? An accountability coach when you're tapering. What I see happen with people is we want instant gratification. We want to see those results, okay? We want to get down with the get down. And that's not how a taper works. When you're tapering, you have to take it little by little. You have to take the cues and listen to your body, okay? When you're going down, you can't go down every week and expect your body to be able to stabilize and be okay. Your body has to have time to stabilize after each drop. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I was doing my taper, I was dropping once a month. And it was I would drop at the beginning of the month, and then I had the rest of the month for my body to stabilize to that drop. And then the next month would come up and I would drop again. And there would be some months where I was like, you know what? I don't feel comfortable dropping this month. I'm going to pause and not drop. And so I wouldn't drop. And then I would drop. The doctor that I work with, he helps people come off of benzodiazepines, okay? Like, that's like one of his specialties is benzodiazepine help tapers, because we have a lot of people that come to us who have, their doctors don't know how to get them off of the benzos, and they're like in pain, they're hurting. And so that's what I learned from him, is to do low and slow tapers, to listen to our bodies. And if my body says, hey, I'm feeling crappy today, you know what I'm saying? Then I just kind of hang out and don't make a move that day. When I was on 12 milligrams of Suboxone, I took 12 milligrams and I immediately took away 2 milligrams. Now, you don't have to do this. You could just do 1 milligram. But I took away 2 milligrams and I went down to 10 milligrams. And I stayed at 10 milligrams for 30 days. Then I took away 2 more milligrams and went down to 8 milligrams and stayed at 8 milligrams for 30 days. Then I started taking away 1 milligram. And I did that until I got down to 4 milligrams. And when I got down to 4 milligrams, then I started taking away half a milligram. So that way it was like, a little bit slower. And I got down all really, really low, And when I got down low, I felt so accomplished. I could really feel when I got down on the lower side of my medication, I started to have feeling back, like I had my sex drive back. I had more energy when I was waking up in the morning. My constipation, it was basically gone, which I really don't have it that bad anymore, but I used to. And all the negative side effects that I experienced from subs kind of dissipated when I got on the lower end of things. If you're not ready yet, then you just stick and stay where you're at. Nate, go. Your bathtub's filling up. Nathaniel, I'm not playing with you. Look at me right now. I'm not playing with you. Go get in that bathtub right now. I've been on Suboxone for 8 years, honey. Don't worry, okay? Just stay on it as long as you need to. This is what I always tell people. I say, who are you rushing? Who are you trying to beat? Who are you trying to compete with? Okay? Why are you in a rush? The only person that you should be trying to compete with is yourself. I gotta wash my face. And so if you've been on it for 3 years and you feel like you're not ready, that's okay. Stay where you're at, baby. How do you know? I have to take the tablets. The strips make me sick. And they're so hard to even have. Is there a kind you can get that are scored? Not with the pills are so hard. I used the strips to cut them, and then once you get down to lower ends, you can get the 2 milligram strips, the 4 milligram strips, and you could slice them into the tiniest little pieces until you have to pick it up with the end of a pin. I've tapered from 110 to 30 milligrams of methadone to get on Suboxone. Oh, good job. Sam, you're getting on sub? Oh, yeah, I remember that. I was just, hold on. We've been having a good conversation tonight, huh, guys? Everybody's getting to know me. This is how I am for all of you guys that are new to my channel. This is me. And I'll tell you guys, I was so afraid to talk about all this stuff this week because I was like, I'm going to get so much hate. People are going to be mad at me for talking about it, but I feel like I need to. And I'm so glad I did because I feel like so many people came here that I'm glad I got to meet, And I think the Sublocade shot is amazing. amazing. If you can get the Suboxone shot, go for it. Because I was on such a little amount, the doctor wouldn't let me go back up. He didn't want me to go back up on my dose, you know? What did you cold turkey from? I just seen somebody say something about cold turkey. And ouch, it's hot. I gotta do my teeth, my teeth care because I got my water pick. Whew, it's burning my. Ooh, that's hot. Hot tamales. So what's going on the interwebs tonight? I'm legit proof to never cold turkey for that. I have early onset pancreatitis because of all the barfing and sickness from withdrawal. Ooh, no way. I'm not going to do that. Suboxone is a once-a-month injection of buprenorphine, a subcutaneous injection. It goes, in your stomach, underneath the skin, and it forms a little bump. And throughout the 30 days, it's supposed to release buprenorphine into your system evenly over that 30-day period of time. It comes in a 300 milligram shot and a 100 milligram shot. And most doctors won't trade you over to it unless you're on 8 milligrams or higher. But my friend Kevin's doctor, he experimented with it, and my friend Kevin was on 4 milligrams of Suboxone. The doctor took a shot and squirted out some of it and gave him maybe 70. Instead of a 100 milligram shot, 70 milligram or something like that, and it worked. And so some doctors are stepping out on a limb and helping people who are on lower doses to get transitioned onto Suboxone. But like my doctor, he wouldn't unless I was on 8 milligrams or more. I'm washing my face. What are you doing? I am not. I like helping people. It really helps me. Helping other people helps me stay sober. Helping people gives me joy. I enjoy doing it. I like to see people, being successful and changing their life and healing. We're just talking about recovery. We're talking about medication-assisted treatment. I was telling my story a little bit earlier on. We were talking about all kinds of crazy stuff that I used to do when I was in active addiction. We've just been yakking all night. Ooh, that was hot. Whenever I started this channel, I knew I'm just not the kind of person that can, set up a ring light and only film if I have my makeup on, and that's just not me, I am a get it how you live kind of person. I remember when I first started my channel, I had just gotten custody back of my son, and I would take you guys through the day with me. I would make bacon and eggs in the morning for breakfast for me and Nate. You're just here doing your self-care while you're chatting with us. Yep. And a lot of the times, my TikTok and my Facebook people, they will get their self-care going because they have watched me for so long that they have gotten into a routine of doing their skincare at night. Because I bet you guys aren't doing your skincare. All you guys and girls out there, if you're a guy, you should be doing your skincare. If you're a girl, you should be doing your skincare. Okay? And so just doing this little act of self-care, really helps, me feel nice and calm and ready for, bedtime. And, I got myself taken care of and all that good stuff. And I just feel good about it. Just like when I wake up in the morning and I do my makeup, I'll come on here and I'll do makeup with you guys sometimes. And that makes me feel, accomplished. I really, really enjoy doing that. And I like just chit-chatting while I do it. I remember Lance hating on me a couple of years ago. Yes, light a nice smelling candle. Um, because here's the thing, when us people who struggle with addiction, a lot of times when we are in our active addiction, we're not doing anything healthy for ourselves. We're not taking care of our bodies. We're not taking care of our skins. Um, and we're not taking care of our bodies. We're not taking care of our skin. And so once we get sober, this is a time where we can do that. Just like I wasn't taking care of my teeth. That's why I'm losing my teeth. I cannot wait to get my teeth fixed on Friday because it is really for the birds. But we get in our little routine of doing this with my people, and it's like clockwork. Hey, Nate. You better be in that bath. Oh, boy. Oh, I got a pimple on my face. Oh. Self-love, baby. And so this is something that helped me, like doing my makeup, you guys, because I really struggle with my insecurity and low self-esteem. And so when I first got sober, doing my makeup was like it helped me with my confidence. It helped me with my confidence, and it also was a way that I could connect with other women in recovery, because I would do like my lives and we would talk while I was doing my makeup. And so that helped me. I'm telling you guys, like, making content online really helped me. Now, it's not going to help everybody. Some people don't do good with that kind of stuff, right? But having people to help me stay accountable really, really helped me, man. A lot. Thanks, Kayla. I really, it makes me sad that it's such a big deal that I'm just myself. That tells me that a lot of people are being fake, and I hate that. It makes me sad. But I truly believe when people are being fake, it's because they have something to hide, or they just don't love themselves, and so they don't think that being themselves is good. I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I try to treat everybody the way I would want to be treated, okay? Like I told you guys the other day, if I was out here doing bullshit, I would expect for you guys to say, Nicole, what are you doing? You're going to ruin your life. We're worried about you. I would expect that from the recovery community. And so a diamond painting channel, that would be so cool. Hey, Melissa. Here's the thing, okay? Imagine having to put on a front every time you put the camera on. Put on a mask. I mean, that's a lot of work, you guys. That's a lot of damn work. It's too much damn work for me. I mean, look at me over here. I'm in my pajamas, doing my skincare. I can't be bothered with all that. Putting my mask on, putting my mask off. But that's, you know what? there are some really great people that are in the recovery community that make videos here on YouTube, though, you guys, and I will link them in the community tab because there are some good people. And just so you guys know, like I support, sorry, my boobs were sweating. Okay. I support everybody. Is there a shot called Vivitrol? Yeah, Vivitrol is naltrexone, and doesn't have buprenorphine in it, and you can also use it for alcoholism too. There's a lot of fakeness on here. There's a lot of stuff people are doing for just accountable. That's why she not the recovery. Yeah, that made me kind of upset, you guys, because the recovery community has been nothing but accepting. In fact, she has been on the Dopey podcast. They're a huge part of the recovery community. Many different people in recovery who she has collaborated with, who have been accepting and loving and tolerant of her. What that was I need to separate myself from recovery because I don't want to do what I was telling everybody I was doing. I don't want to be a recovery person anymore because I want to still be able to do X, Y, and Z, right? And so now, because she wants to take X, Y, and Z, it's conducive. And come on, Nathaniel. Nathaniel, come on. Nathaniel, Alexander, it is a freaking weekday. Get in there now. You want a spanking? Okay. Being a little tootie about he's mad at me. It's not conducive for her anymore because she wants to use those things, which that's her prerogative. Like I said, it's her prerogative. I'm not hating on her at all. I'm just sad about it, honestly. She had JD make a TikTok for her, and isn't he a recovery channel? Yeah, Mandy. Yeah, did you see that he made a video basically like making fun of me? He like used a country accent and everything in it. And I thought that was so funny because, I thought it was so funny because he blocked me before he posted that video on TikTok. Like, he could have just said something. He could, yeah, buddy, what's up?
Can you get me the phone so I can watch TV in here?
Yes. He could have just added me, you know? I mean, I don't know. I was actually kind of like cool with JD. We actually, I actually talked to him and invited him to come tell his story, and we had planned on getting together and doing that. But I guess since, she called him to her rescue, which, I mean, that's fine. He doesn't understand. Like I told you guys yesterday, he's kind of innocent because he doesn't know what's really going on. He is new to everything. He just came in on the tail end of all this. He doesn't really know anything that's going on. Okay, son. I love you, okay? I'm not trying to... I put it on infinite. I'm not trying to be a mean old lady, okay? You got to take a bath time, buddy.
You already are.
Do you want me to bring you... Have you got the soap? Wash your little grundle, okay? Make sure you scrub it really good. Scrub his little butt cheeks. Scrub them. It was them trying to shade me, but that's fine. It's fine. Okay, I just feel like he didn't have to do that, you know what I mean? But whatever. At the end of the day, like, I want to make sure that the message that I am conveying to you guys is a message that I can go to bed at night and know that I feel safe with what I talk to you about, right? I don't want to go to bed and think, did I just tell everybody it was okay to drink alcohol, take Adderall, and pop gabapentins? You know? And I don't think some people understand that we have a responsibility as people that are in recovery, that are making content, to try and be honest, to try and be to be honest, not try to be honest. When you build your platform, and if something happened and there was messages that came out about me, and they were saying that I was using drugs, I would absolutely feel like I needed to come to you guys and talk to you about what was going on. I would absolutely owe you all an explanation, because I would not have my platform if it wasn't for you all. I wouldn't have my paycheck if it wasn't for all of you. I would not have my job with Recovery Delivered, with Dr. B, with Self Recovery, if it wasn't for all of you guys. I have all of those opportunities because of my following, right? And so I just feel like I would come to you guys and tell y'all, because it would be embarrassing if that happened to me and I got outed, right? But at the end of the day, like, all of us are addicts and everybody makes mistakes. And if we're honest and we come to each other and we, admit our faults and make amends, and we mean it and we don't repeat the behavior, then everybody would be supportive and be here with us, I absolutely have no, and I guess, like, it's just crazy to me. I'm just so grateful that I used to think, man, I wish I could, I wish I could build my, YouTube channel more. I'm trying so hard. I make a lot of content, and, now I realize that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. And my channel is growing at exactly the speed that it's supposed to grow at. Because my higher power knows that if I was handed 1 million followers on a platter today, that could be something that would be detrimental to my recovery, And so we're going to just grow at our speed, honey. And that makes me so glad. I'm so happy that people are able to get help. It makes me so happy. Me too. I'm glad you guys found my channel too, and I'm grateful for all of you guys. And like I said, y'all are the reason why I have opportunities that I have, and that I'm getting. And so I don't ever want to forget, where I came from or who helped me get here, Absolutely. So, okay. Did you guys enjoy the live stream tonight? Did y'all have fun? Do y'all have any questions before we get off here? Terry, and do you know that people tried to accuse me of putting that in my own shoe? When I tell you guys, I was so hurt, because that moment in time when that for those of you guys that don't know, I ordered a pair of purple Chuck Taylor Converses off of Poshmark. They came in the mail. I got them out of the box and I threw them in the corner of my room. I was getting ready to go pick my son up from school early because he made a 100 on his multiplication test. And I told him if he made 100, I would check him out early. So I was going to put my shoes on. I put my right shoe on. I went to put the left shoe on, and there was something blocking my foot. So I stuck my hand in there, and it was a wadded up piece of toilet paper that looked like it had been in there for centuries. And there was I could see the corner of a plastic bag. I pulled it out, and it was a bag of methamphetamine, literally crystal methamphetamine. And I immediately called my husband and sent him a picture, and he goes, "Holy shit, that is meth." And then I hung up with him, and for a split second, my mind said, you could do this and nobody would know. And that's when I grabbed my phone and I got on TikTok and I made a video right away. And I flushed it down the toilet on my video with everybody. But I'm telling you guys, like I was crying. I was so scared because the thought crossed my mind that I could use it and nobody would know. And I felt so ashamed because I thought, you know, I should not, why would I even think that, you know? But that doesn't matter. Thoughts are just thoughts. I didn't do it. I immediately got rid of it. And I reached out to Poshmark to let them know what was happening, right? Poshmark was sending me like automated responses. So I messaged the seller and I was like, hey, you sent me methamphetamine in my shoe. They blocked me. The seller blocked me. And so I kept messaging Poshmark because I was like, this is bullshit. I was like, what if that had happened to somebody who was, struggling? What if a little kid had gotten a hold of it? Okay? I finally got a hold of Poshmark and they finally responded to me and I told them what happened. And they, of course, apologized. They refunded me my money, which I didn't want my money back. I like the shoes. I truly believe I know y'all are going to think I'm crazy. I believe that a dark force, something has been coming against me. And when this happened, this was at the peak of this enemy trying to come against me. I'm serious, you guys. And I have never had anything like that happen to me in my 8 years of being sober, okay? Of damn near 8 years, 7 years and 9 months or whatever of being sober. I have never had that happen ever, okay? And so I practiced everything that I had told you guys for so long. I started snitching on my addiction. I got the phone. I started calling people. I started telling them I found meth in my shoe. Look at this. Help me. What do I do? Okay. Then I utilized my community just like I tell you guys to do. And I got on live and we flushed it together. Okay. Then then after I did that, I got home and I did a live stream and we processed through everything about how I was feeling. And, I was really emotional about it. It was really, really scary for me. And like I said, I was ashamed of myself for thinking I could do this and nobody would know. I felt a lot of shame. But I did exactly what I've always told other people to do. And so what that tells me is that all these hours of making videos and talking to people about staying sober and different things that can help them, it's working. It's helping me. You know what I mean? It was a teaching moment. And there wasn't a lot of people who tried to accuse me of planting it in my own shoe, but there were some people. And I guess what hurt my feelings the most is that it was other women who were saying this. One girl accused me of being mentally ill and just doing it for attention. And I thought, what are you talking? I have I have a following on social media. I get plenty of attention. I don't need the attention. this was a moment in time where, like, I couldn't believe that I was overcoming this with, it was just crazy. And that's the thing, yeah, for views. And I don't get paid by TikTok for my views at all, at all. And so that was just like a slap in the face, I've never done anything for views, I don't make cheesy thumbnails. I don't clickbait people. I just am myself, And so the video that I did before that video went viral and got 1 million views. The video where I was talking about the things that I do that help me stay sober, and I was listing out how I snitch on my addiction and then I remember when. And at the end of that video, I was talking about remembering when I had to give custody over of my son to CPS. And he was not even 1 year old, and he was asleep when I had to give him to a complete stranger. And all I could think about was how he was going to wake up and he was not going to be with me. He was going to be looking for his mom, and I wouldn't be there to comfort him. And I remember that, and I will always remember that. I will think about it until the day I die, so I don't ever make that fucking fucked up mistake again. I don't ever want to have to hand my son over to CPS. I don't ever want to cause trauma in his life ever again. And so by remembering that, it helps me to not make bad decisions. And so I made that video and I was talking about that, and I got emotional at the end. And a lot of people, I guess, could relate to that video, The reason I got sober is because of my son, and I wouldn't be here if if my son hadn't been born. I would not be alive. I would not be here. I would have continued to use until I died. I truly believe that God blessed me with a child because he knew that I didn't care about myself enough. And I needed something to care about, right? To love. And so my little boy he saved my life. And he knows that. He'll tell y'all. He knows. He'll say, I saved her life. And because I tell him that all the time. I tell him that he saved my life. He helped me to get sober, And I'm still learning how to be a mom in recovery, even though I've been sober for a while. It's hard, man. Taste on the tip of my tongue, or just, yeah, just peachy. That's exactly what I was thinking, girl. Nobody would know. Nobody would know, And so that's how tricky the brain is. It was that easy for my brain to go to, I could do this and nobody would know. And that is just so scary to me, you guys. It's so scary to me. And so that's why it's like we are just one drink, one smoke, one toke, whatever, away from, fucking up our whole lives, And so that's why you gotta watch the content that you take in. If you're taking in content where you're watching your favorite creator or whatever who's, getting fucked up all the time and partying all the time and living the life, like for me, when I'm taking in that kind of content, it affects me, like I will start to kind of do those same things, talk the same way. And so like I try to watch people who inspire me in my recovery. Do you know what I'm saying? Who I look up to in recovery, who are doing things that I wish I could do in recovery, or I want to be able to do in recovery. And so just so y'all know, if you are struggling, find you. I'm going to put a whole bunch of recovery creators that y'all can watch that are here on YouTube and TikTok. I'll put them all on my community tab, but they will inspire you guys. They will inspire you. Okay. So anyways, I'm going to go lay down. We have been on here for 3 hours, y'all. This is my world motherfucking record. So if you guys enjoyed this live stream, give it a like, share it with a friend, invite somebody over here. If you guys really like me and you want to follow me on my other social media platforms, I got Instagram, I got TikTok, I got Facebook, I got a Patreon with over 400 videos all about recovery in there. And whatever you want to do, I really appreciate the support, you guys. Now, yeah, Terry, go wash your face. Go do y'all self-care, okay? And I'll see y'all tomorrow in the morning for meditation at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be live, okay? Okay, Mandy, I'll message you back. All right, bye, you guys.